Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I'm joined by Dopey, aka Oscar. So, how's your week been? Well, a couple of weeks actually.
Couple of weeks been nice. You know, lots of things to do, lots of things to talk about.
Yeah, of course. Sport has been quite ravenous over the past couple of weeks, which is what you want to see. Now, there are a couple of jumping off points that we could go off. Now, what sport would you like to sort of hit first? You got a preference?
We can start with rugby league. The State of Origin teams, they're going to be announced today for Game 2. Or I think at least New South Wales is. Queensland always do it a day later because they think they're better than us, which they are. But yeah, that's I guess the main talking point. Obviously, the last time we spoke, I think was before Game 1. Obviously, the calamity has since taken place.
Yeah, not the greatest result, if I could be honest. Not great, not great for a New South Welshman. But yeah. Now, we mentioned it prior to the podcast. You're thinking about making a couple of changes. What we might do is sort of jump into a team list of our own. Now, Madge will definitely have different teams to us, but what we'd personally pick now, because we're very qualified and we know everything. So I think we should be the sort of the dictators. But I mean, you'll probably pick 20 Penrith players, but that's by the by.
No, I don't think I actually added any Panthers players.
Did you not?
No. Actually, well, no, I did, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
But the obvious one that has to be added, but...
Is it?
Which is the number one.
Okay. I reckon we start with yours first. Jump off.
What do we want to do, who we said for each position?
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so for number one...
My one is obviously Dylan Edwards. Has to be in. Absolutely has to be in.
My one is Dylan Edwards as well.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Look, I'm thinking
4 years it's taken this guy and he's finally broken
No, I'm
down.
not. Like, if it was me, I would pick Tedesco. But I have sort of, within this pick, sort of thought, well, if he's picked...
You've thought, well, if we're going to pick a better player...
No. If he's picked Edwards for Game 1, I'm thinking, look, it would be wrong for him to drop him, especially after losing. Now, the circumstances were obviously a bit different in this loss. It wasn't Tedesco's fault at all. I thought he played quite well, scored the opening try. But it is a...
Threw the ball over the sideline 4 times.
But no, he did that once. Yeah, the game was already gone at that point. But anyway, yeah, I think it's a bit of a tricky one. I would pick Edwards simply for the fact that he picked him Game 1. He obviously didn't get to play. You've got to give him a shot. It's going to be a tough game. I don't hate that Edwards picking this position. So, look, give him a shot. He's going to probably be the middest of mid. But look, if that happens, then it is what it is.
Yeah, look, I think he's going to kill it. Absolutely brain it.
Yeah.
Well, it obviously depends. We're playing the Knights today. It depends how he goes in that game. Obviously, he needs to get through it and be fit to be able to play. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
But from what I'm hearing, it was literally just a cork. And he potentially could have even played Origin in the week before. But anyway, we're here now. He deserves the shot. He's been the most consistent player, fullback at least, in the comp for the past 3 years. Whether you want to say he's been the best or not, he's definitely been the most consistent.
Yeah, he's been consistently bang average. I agree. No,
consistently,
he's been consistently
average.
Pretty solid, to be fair.
He has.
So, yeah.
And he deserves this spot. So, yeah, no arguments there. Moving on to the wingers, I've kept it the same, Toto and Lomax.
I've done the same as well. I think, yeah, Toto and Lomax. Toto, look, he's been a bit mid, if I'm honest, the past couple of... I don't know why I keep saying mid, but I would pick Toto, so I still think he's a premier winger, and he's unreal at getting the ball out and bringing it out from the back, so I would still pick him. However, there are certain disadvantages that he has on that stage where you have the height problem. Now, you may not think it's a problem, but look, I would still pick him. So, yeah, it's definitely Toto and Lomax. Lomax was unreal Game 1, so hopefully he can do the same. Now, will he do a signature Lomax probably flick past it goes out? Yeah, sure. But hopefully that doesn't happen if he's on the wing.
Well, yeah, exactly. It eliminates the flick pass when you're on the wing.
Yeah,
unless he gets the left hand out and goes back inside.
Yeah.
But
now for centers, I'm assuming we have the same as well. I've gone Crichton and Latrell.
Yeah.
Pretty simple for me. I think with Crichton, he's probably the best center in the comp by far. And also, he's just an unreal defensive player that can move from different positions. He's just the complete package that you want in Origin. And then Latrell, strike player. You need him in the centres. When he's actually playing in the centres and when he played for the centres with the Roosters and played State of Origin at centre, he's the best player on the field every single time. So I think you've got to pick him in that position, and I think Latrell even this was probably a discussion that not a lot of people would want to have with Latrell in there earlier on. But in my opinion has always been, if he'd played a couple of games prior to Origin, and if he was healthy and fit in Origin Game 1, I would have picked him 100%. I think when he is at least healthy, you've got to pick him. And Queensland would do the same. Queensland with their great players, now Latrell isn't the most consistent of great players, but with Queensland throughout the years with their great players, no matter what kind of form they're in, no matter they've had injuries earlier on in the season, they always pick their best players. And that's something that we haven't done, that we've always tried to sort of pick based on form, and I don't agree with. That's why I'm so hesitant about the Edwards-Tedesco thing. Now, obviously, Edwards has had 3 years of being very consistent, but I hate to oust players based on other players you think they've had better form. I just don't think it's right. I think you pick the best players. And I think Tedesco physically is a better player than Dylan Edwards, but I would still pick Edwards for this game.
That was some waffle, but
it was waffle, but
objectively, Dylan Edwards is better. But we'll stick on Latrell for the moment. I was one of those people that didn't want to pick him. Like 8 weeks ago, I would have said there is no way in hell I'm letting this dude near a Blues jersey. His form has been so average until the past 3 weeks, but his form was awful at fullback. I mean, you can't be averaging like 40 metres as a fullback in the NRL. It's just pathetic.
Yeah.
And obviously he has the grubby acts that gets him suspended every year, and he has the off-field politics he gets himself into, which is just, I'm like, just leave it alone, brother. But anyway.
I love getting into politics.
Here we
are.
The situation we're in as a state now, in my opinion, is a Hail Mary situation where we're most likely going to lose the series, and we need to put him in there. There's a chance Latrell could be the worst player on the field. That is a very real possibility.
I don't think it is.
But he also could be the best.
I think it's way more. There's way bigger of a chance that he's the best rather than he's the worst. I mean, when has he ever played bad at centre? I don't like. He is
but he is not as good. He's not as good as a player now as he was 5 years ago, in my opinion.
But he plays fullback.
But he's been better at fullback, way better in previous years.
Yeah, I get. Well, look, injuries have sort of hampered him in that area, and fitness probably is the main thing. When he's fit and firing, he's an unreal player, no matter if he's at fullback or centre. It's just because fullback requires you to be so fit, and that's just not who he is. But if you put him at centre, where he's not having to run around all the time, I think where you just have to be physical and skillful, that is...
it depends.
He's the best He's the best player at the comp at both of those things.
And it depends like what side you're going to put him on. I would put him on Val Holmes. Wherever Val Holmes is, I would put him on Val Holmes. The Hammer is going to have a field day with him. He's going to run circles around him.
But the Hammer could do nothing with him as well.
Yeah. But we said that like when they debuted him at centre last year, and we were like, that is a strange pick at centre. He's going to get destroyed.
But I wouldn't put him right. So I don't think he's a right centre, though. I think he is a definite left centre. Like, Crichton can play both, and that's why you pick Latrell at his best one, because I don't think Latrell's at all a right centre. It's just he's too left orientated, in my opinion. He's too left-handed. He's too sorry. He moves too much to the left for me.
He has played a lot on the left, so you can do that. But then you're splitting up Crichton and Toe, but whatever. I think it has to be done.
Now halves. This might be a bit different. I've gone Keary and Moses.
Okay. Now I've dropped both of them as well. I've gone Burton and Moses.
Okay. My thought process is Burton's best skill mitigated if you pick Moses as well?
No.
What is the point of having two unbelievably good? It's an added bonus, but that's Burton's best
because
skill.
Having two threats alleviates the pressure of one of the threats. If you know Moses is going to get the ball every time, you just close him down.
I get it, but I watched the game. Obviously you watched the game, but if you watch the game 1, we looked so clunky close to a Queensland. Obviously we missed a player, but when we were close to the line, we looked so clunky. And Keary's the best thing what he's great at is close to the opposition line, creating, being smooth in his transit, and just being a great ball player. And I think Luai doesn't provide that. I don't think Burton provides it as much as Keary. Nowhere near as much as Keary. And I think for a balance, I think it's a better one, because I think Moses, when you have And Moses works well with Dylan Brown, who's very similar in that aspect. I think with Moses, you have the long kicking game. He can be in charge of running the team, and Kiri can just be his best self when he's playing 6 and he's close to the line and he's creating through his passing. I don't hate the Burton pick, but for me, I think the balance is better with Kiri and...
I just think defensively is going to be an issue for Luke Keary. He is just so small and he's old now, so it's a problem. Like, they're going to attack him. I can't see him holding up to it, to be honest.
But if he's playing with Latrell at centre and...
Yeah, but he's still going to have to make the tackles.
At second row on that left edge, it's going to be a lot... The physicality of those players is... unreal.
Yeah, but you can't hide a player in Origin. You don't
have to hide him, but it's going to give them second qualms if, okay, I'm going to go at Luke Keary, but I'm going to have fucking Latrell or Angus Crichton just bulldozing me over the top.
I just can't see him performing in Origin, to be honest, at this point in his career. I mean, Burton obviously has a better kicking game. He's got a way better running game. He's a threat with the ball in hand. You could say Luke Keary is a bit of a better ball player, but I would say everything else, Burton's got him covered comfortably. And I think he's just earned the right. He's been playing well all year.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But so has Keary.
Yeah, he has, but I just don't... Like, Luke Keary is a Queenslander.
I mean, Greg Inglis was a fucking New South Welshman.
Luke Keary went to court to try and overturn the decision to not let him play for Queensland.
Yeah, look, things happen in the past. I think... Well, he's played in Sydney for so long now. I think his quote, like he had the question in Origin camp, and he was like, "My family's from New South Wales."
Obviously, he's not going to say.
I know, but like he went out of his way. Like, I've literally been like, the way he said it wasn't like, no, like when what's his name, Pangai did it last year, and he was like, "No, I love New South Wales," when clearly he's the biggest Queenslander. But I think Keary, it was quite believable when he said, well, look, I've been here like for so long. My family, my kids are all New South Welshmen. Like, they all support New South Wales. Like, I was, but like I was born in Ipswich, sure, but like I've lived here for so long and my family's been here for so long that I'm a New South Welshman now. So I understand. That's a lot more believable than Pangai and fucking that idiot. Sorry. But I know that's a problem for a lot of New South Wales, and that's probably why he wasn't picked for a lot of years. Because he was
the issue was he got injured or head knocked around Origin time every year.
Well, that's more recent, but like in the 17, 18, 19 era, how he wasn't picked more is laughable. He was the best 6, probably even in the comp at that point. So,
no, like Jimmy Maloney was killing it back then.
Yeah, but Jimmy Maloney I don't know.
We were winning series then.
We were, but Luke Keary was by far and away the best. Like, the fact that he wasn't even consideration was because of people thought he was a Queenslander. So, look, I wouldn't pick him, to be honest. I just can't see it going well. Okay. Well, look, I don't hate the Burton one. This was probably my rogue one out of this, but I just like the balance it brings.
Like, we know Madge likes him, so there is a possibility.
Yeah, do you think it's more likely that he picks Burton or Keary?
I have no idea, because all the talk was in the first squad, if Hines wasn't fit, Keary was going to be the replacement, not Burton.
Yeah.
But
to be fair, Keary would be a better 7 and an organiser than Burton would be. So I don't hate that. But like we talked prior to the podcast, I honestly think, this is not us, but this is Madge, I think he might stick with the same halves. Like, I think I think it's going down that track.
Well, yeah, and we can talk about that, but obviously Nicho Hines... Yes, he has had a rough go of it at Origin level, thrown on in the centres for 10 minutes, then dropped for the series, and then played a whole game with 12 men. But
it's almost fool me once.
You could just...
Shame on me.
Look, if you've got an eye for it, you can just tell he's not at that level, in my opinion.
Yeah. The amount of... It's the way... For me, it's the way he misses tackles. The amount of missed tackles that have led to opposition tries was jarring. And I get... Obviously, with Suwali going off, he was probably thrust into that centre position again where he was crap last year. But if he's some versatile back that we've got, and he is shocking at every other position other than half. I mean, he was shocking at half, but if he's shocking at centre, then what kind of versatile player is he? and why are we picking him? I just think I probably said this on the pod, but he's such a front forward player. Like, he just cannot. Like, when the Sharks have got momentum, he's unreal. His running game, his passing game, not his short kick, but his intermediate kicking game, where he's, pinning teams down in the corner, where he's, doing like 40-20. He's good at that. He's really good at kicking off the front foot. But in Origin, against Queensland, you're not going to be in that position a lot. And you need someone with an absolute belter on them to have a chance. And I think he just doesn't have that. And obviously he's seen, probably unjustly, I'd like to say, that he's seen as some kind of, what's the word? Not scapegoat, but because he's from the beaches, he's got that long hair.
Everyone likes him.
He's not tough.
Oh.
That was where I was sort of going. He's not a tough, gritty player. He's sort of seen as that because of how he sort of talks and how he sort of plays.
Well, I think everyone sort of likes him, and everyone was like hoping that it worked in game one this year.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, a lot of people, I feel like, just feel so bad for him, they want to give him another go.
But it's just like the highest level of competition. Yeah. This is not time to be giving people go. And that's what I said earlier. I think New South Wales, both currently and in the past, have got into the trap of, let's pick players who deserve it. Let's pick players who have been in good form recently and deserve an Origin shot, a chance to put on the blue jersey. It should be who are the best players. And Nicho Hynes is nowhere near the player that Mitch Moses is. Sorry, he's just not. And when Cleary's fit, he's nowhere near Cleary's level. So at best, he's probably the third, fourth option for the state at number 7.
Yeah.
So look, I just wouldn't pick him. I have a feeling he will get picked again, but for us, I think it would definitely be a switch up. Now, we haven't even picked Luai, which is the interesting one.
Is that surprising that I didn't pick him?
It is. Oh, you love Burden, so it's not that surprising.
And he's going to the Tigers, so
yeah, I think that's more of it. But the thing with Luai, he had good moments, but again, the clunkiness shows up. He just he's not a smooth ball player, and that's why I picked Kiri.
He is probably the guy that sort of illustrates working within the Penrith system better than most, because when he jinks off his left foot like 3, 4, 5 times in a row, pretty much every time, rather than keep shifting it left. And everyone at Penrith knows how to play off that. They know like where to run, what lines to give him, how to react to what he does. But it's just such a strange way that he not like weird, but it's just different to how most halves will play.
Yeah.
That in a state of origin level, you've only got a week to adjust to that, and all these players that have never played with him aren't going to be able to do that. So it sort of looks a bit clunky. But yeah, he's not terrible. He's a decent option. But
yeah. Well, look, my feeling is he might. If it's not the Hynes Luai, I think Luai could get the 7. And look, has he been playing well at 7 recently? Yes, but I just can't see it at all at Origin level. It's just, again, it's similar with Hynes. Could he be a massive kicker off the back foot? No, he's just not that. So look, we'll see. But the halves is probably the most sort of up in the air position probably at the moment.
Well, people are saying Cody Walker again now after the Souths have won a couple games. I wouldn't be going there, but
I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Look, to be fair, I think game 3 last year he played really well, but he's had too many stinkers. I remember for what was it? What was a really bad? Was it? I think it was the one where we lost to the worst Queensland team ever. He was 6, I believe. In that. Was he playing in that series, or was that Luai?
It was Cleary and I actually can't remember. Maybe it could have been Luke Keary.
No, Keary might have played a game. I don't think Keary played more than a game.
He only played 1, but he could have been Luke Keary game 1, and then
Cody.
Yeah, it could have been Cody game.
I don't want to put that on him, but look, he's had when we've lost to Queensland teams that we shouldn't have, he's been a mainstay. So it's just a bit jarring for me. Again, it's a fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me kind of standpoint. But it's tough. But again, if I see him and Luai in a similar light, and if I had a choice between the two, I'd pick Luai.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, that's our halves sort of chitter-chatter.
Yeah, that's the halves. Moving on to the props. Starting props, I've got Payne Haas limped in like the last tackle of the game. this week, and I was like, holy shit, don't you do it to me, brother. But hopefully he's fit. So I've got Payne Haas, and I've got Isaiah Yeo starting prop.
Me too.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
That's wow. We're on the same page. Yeah, I went Yo simply for the fact that we've got so many good locks, and you've got to get Yo in the team. For me, anyway, I think you've got to get Yo in that team, and obviously I won't spoil who's my 13, but I think
we've both got the same 13.
Probably. But yeah, I think it's 100% you've got to go Yo. Now, this is what we would do. I 100% expect Madge to pick Jake again, which is shocking. But I think it will happen. But yeah, the Payne Haas, obviously not been the best form for New South Wales recently, but he is the best prop in the game, so hopefully he can turn it around. Were there any other props that sort of... Did you maybe think of promoting Spencer to starting, or was there any other...
He's just so good off the bench. And I think he works
Well,
best.
he started yesterday.
Did he?
For the Power game, and he was unreal.
So I just like him off the bench.
Yeah.
At Origin level. And you don't have to give him... You don't want him playing 60 minutes. You want him playing 30.
Now, do you worry about... The only thing with me with Yo was... The problem I had with him was, is he going to be that good of a ball runner? Like, is he going to be...
He actually is pretty good.
I know, but that's because people he threatens a pass so much, and he plays in that sort of... He's not doing the first hit up every game.
No, but he can still threaten the pass. Like, just because he's playing 8 doesn't mean he can't pass.
Okay.
And he is deceptively good. Like, he doesn't run it as hard as certain blokes, but he's just good at finding little gaps and getting his leg drive going and making some good PCMs. So, look, he's better than Jake Trbojevic. The sad truth of the matter is. So
say if Yo isn't getting picked as prop and Jake isn't getting picked as prop as well, is there a natural prop? Because obviously Jake and Yo aren't props. Is there a natural prop out there that you'd probably maybe consider for that role to bring in that might be new? Would it be RCG?
Yeah, well, I've got him in my team, but on the bench.
You've got RCG in your team?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Radio. Yeah, that's an interesting one. So you think RCG maybe?
I wouldn't start him, no.
Okay.
I think Yo and Haas starting is the right option.
Okay. And now, number 9.
Coruscant.
Yeah, same. Well, our team's very similar. This is quite bizarre.
It is. I think we've only got one player different so far.
Yeah. Now, Robson didn't do himself a disservice.
Great defensively. If he was a colour and attack, it'd be grey.
Yeah, I agree. I think Coruscant, what he brings close to, getting out of dummy half, close to the ruck, I think is invaluable. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with Appy there. I think obviously he played great at 7, and I think that provides a bit of flexibility as well. If you wanted to go with if you're not picking Burton on the bench, I think you can have a guy like Coruscant in there. If you're not going to pick a traditional half on the bench, I think you pick maybe Coruscant in there, and he can sort of move over to 7 or 6 if you need him to, in that setting if a half goes down. So yeah, and maybe one of my players that I've picked on the bench comes into that number 9 role, but we're not gonna spoil it. So yeah, that's our starting. Oh no, we need to do second row. Sorry,
second row stays the same. Martin and Crichton.
I've gone. I know this is really controversial, but I've gone Olakau'atu over Martin for starting. Now, Martin had an unreal game, but I think the things that he did well were obviously the big hits and the effort plays. I think could be just as, if not more, impactful if he's coming off the bench. Now, is it too similar to Spencer, who obviously is going to be on our bench? Maybe, but I think Olakau'atu, when he came on, just looked like he just was unreal. He just looked so scary.
He had a couple of errors, but his first carry was great, and he put some shots on. So,
and he when you're starting off an Origin game, imagine having to say we kick off the Queensland, they're just running it fucking Olakau'atu. Imagine having to run at that guy.
Yeah, I think
and Martin obviously is a great.
I think it's just more a thing of trust and knowing what you're going to get.
Yeah.
With Lee Martin, you know what you're going to get. Olakau'atu is still a bit of a wild card. So I'd be And also, you don't want to burn him out. Like, if you start him, you expect him to get through 60, maybe even 80 minutes.
But maybe
you
you
get to
switch
30
it
and
up.
he's done.
Maybe you switch it up. You play Martin the majority of the minutes, but you bring him off the bench. And you sort of do it.
Yeah. Look, I don't hate it. I'd just be doing it the other way around.
Okay.
Makes more sense in my head, but
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. All right. So my 13,
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Murray.
Yep.
It had to be.
Saw him play 5 minutes yesterday. That's enough.
Yeah, that's
Easy.
enough. He'd be my captain.
Yeah, he's my captain.
I think he's an unreal player.
And that was the problem with making Jake captain is Cleary and Murray both would have been captain had they been there.
Yeah, and it's
Ahead of
like
him.
when you can't just take it off.
Yeah.
It's a bit harsh. But no, yeah, I think Cameron Murray is the best. Well, not the best, but I think he's definitely top 2, top 3, 13 in the comp. And no fault to Cameron McInnes. I thought he played okay. However, with, like I said, the guy that I picked on the bench, it's a bit redundant to have him starting, especially. I don't think he's of that quality. Even though his tackling was great, I thought when he ran with the ball, it was a bit like, ugh,
Yeah, and
he looks a bit out of his depth.
Yeah, and in our team, it makes more sense if Hines isn't going to be there. There's no use for McInnes, really.
Yeah.
And just Cam Murray is a way better player. That's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. He's got the quickest play of the ball in the league. He's got good ball playing, tackles like a machine. So he's got to be in. He might not be able to get through 80 because he's obviously only had the one game under his belt, but
Yeah.
obviously you've got flexibility with Yo there who can shift to 13, so I think it'd be good. And yeah, I'd be making him captain. I know it's harsh, but I'd be doing it.
Yeah, fair play. Now, my number 14 is none other than Connor Watson.
I've got the same.
You've got Connor in there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's surprising.
I think just the way I know I said before that we started the show that I was like, I don't know. But the way I've structured my team with Burton at 6 and Coruscant at 9, I think it just works to have him at 14.
Yeah. I think Connor, great player. He's played unreal this year. He's had really bad luck with injuries over the past couple of years. I think if you're going to pick utility, I think he's the ultimate utility player. Is he better than Burton at 7? No. Or 7 or 6? No. Is he better than, I don't know, if you brought Coruscant off the bench, is he better at Coruscant at 9? No. But I think the flexibility that he gives you between both of those positions, and he can probably play centre as well, I think, and he can play lock as well. There's so much
Fullback.
flexibilities between, I wouldn't put him at fullback, but
he's played fullback before.
Yeah, honestly, he can play every position, and that's just invaluable at Origin, especially with us and recent experience with the injuries that we've had, with the send-offs, with the sin bins. It's just so invaluable to have a guy like that, and I think Madge will see the same, hopefully. But again, would I want to see, like I said earlier, would I want to see him and Cameron McInnes in the same team? No, I think it's way too small. So you've got to pick one or the other, in my opinion. And in my opinion, I'd pick Connor.
Yeah, I'd pick Connor over McInnes as a utility. I mean, McInnes has little value as a utility, in my opinion. He's a lock. You could maybe play him at 9, but what else?
Yeah.
So as a utility, I'd be going Connor all day. Leg speed through the middle is great. He's far. He's almost Queensland's version of Ben Hunt, just faster but worse at kicking.
Yeah.
So it works in that sense. And with Coruscant at 9, I would not be confident in Coruscant going 80 minutes. So I think Watson, he's played a good amount of 9 this year with Brandon Smith missing time. So I'd be confident putting him on for 10 minutes either side of half time at 9 or something.
Yeah.
And then if Murray needs a breather, you can shift him to 13 for 10 minutes. There's so many options with him. So I think it's a good choice. He's been playing well all year. Throw him in, mate. Give him a go.
Yeah.
Give him a go.
I agree. Give him a go.
The rest of the bench, we've obviously both got Lenu.
Yeah.
Absolute beast in game 1, probably our best player. Got to be there. And then I've got Olakawatu, you had Liam Martin.
Yep.
And then I've got RCG.
I've got Terrell May.
Okay.
Terrell, I think, now obviously this is a bit of Roosters bias as a Roosters fan, but I think he's had an unreal start to obviously he's been one of the form props. He hasn't been as hot recent weeks, but I think that's because of how good the other because of how Spencer's looked when he's come back, how Nafahu White's looked when he's played. I think it's not that he's played worse. I think it's fact because the rest of the players are playing so well. The rest of the forwards are playing so well. But I think as a traditional prop, say if Yo, I don't know, if something happens, Yo isn't a traditional prop. The reason why I've picked him is because Yo isn't a traditional prop. And if you need to play a prop big time minutes, he's the guy. Lanyu cannot play big time minutes at the moment. He's not a big time minute player. So if you need a prop off the bench to play 50 minutes straight, Terrell May can do that. So I think even though he's not, as versatile in terms of position, I think in time of play, I think he is. And that's why I'd have him over RCG or, Junior Barlow.
Yeah, I've just gone RCG, even though he hasn't had his best year. He's just good. He runs it hard. He can put shots on. He's a more traditional prop, which I think
is he quick enough though? Is he rock speed? Is he quick enough?
I think he can be, but for the time.
I feel like Parramatta get opened up so easily through the middle because of how slow their props are. And maybe great player, but I think it's a hindrance on them sometimes how big and strong they are.
I just think he's a good guy because on the bench, like, we need the balance of having a traditional prop. We've got Lenu, who's the impact, Olakwatu, who's a back row, and then a utility. So we need a traditional prop on the bench. That's like Hudson Young. Fuck that guy off, please. We don't need another back rower. So, yeah, I've gone for him. The issue with Terrell May is his last name. It's a bit of a sticky one with those boys.
I think
so.
Look, in all seriousness, would you have
picked
Terrell in terms of a traditional prop? Who would you have more faith in playing big time minutes?
It depends. Like, if I need 60 minutes, I'd go May. But if I only need 35, 40, I'd go Campbell Gillard.
Okay.
I just like May. I get it. He's good, but I don't see him really like steamrolling people. Yeah, but shotting. He's more of a finesse prop, I feel like.
Yeah, he is. But that's my thing. You've got Lanyu in the team. You've got Olakawa. You've got steamrollers already. Like, you maybe need a bit of flexibility in terms of finesse. If you need a ton of you need an off. And obviously, RCG is a good offloader as well. But if you need a sort of finesse player that can step a bit, can give a bit of quickness into that ruck and speed up the ruck speed and do all that stuff and play long minutes, I think he provides more flexibility than Campbell Gillard. But I wouldn't hate either.
I can't see Madge picking him, to be honest.
No, I don't. But that, again, it's our selection, so it's our preferences. But for me, it's just the flexibility that it provides is a bit different.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Do you reckon Madge? Do you reckon Madge brings in RCG or?
I don't know. I really have no idea.
It's such an oddball.
Honestly, I think he's just going to be stubborn and back the team he picked in game one.
Yeah.
I honestly would not be shocked if the only change is Latrell and Dylan Edwards.
I'm the same. I think it could honestly be that. Yeah. And that's scary because there are major holes with that team with Cameron Murray healthy.
I'm sorry, Murray's in.
Okay, yeah.
I saw things.
But he might pick Cam McInnes on the bench, which is, him over Connor, like, who would you rather have on the bench?
Yeah, well, he might pick Murray on the bench.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Look, we didn't want to do a Madge's predicted 11 or what we think will happen because it is so up in the air at the moment. But I think with having our own teams, see how similar we are in terms of how we view it, which is quite interesting because we don't agree on much, but we did agree on quite a lot.
We did indeed.
So yeah, if he picks the teams that we picked, I mean, surely we win the next two games, but I doubt that will happen.
Yeah, and it's it's just that easy, really.
Yeah,
sometimes these guys overthink it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, that's our teams, and hopefully it goes well.
Yep, hopefully it goes well. The boys, we need to win. Obviously, we're probably gonna get.
But I've admitted Burden from my side, so obviously that's a bit different.
Oh, so you didn't have him all together?
Not in the 17, no.
Wow. Yeah, that is really weird.
Look, I just think Connor...
What, you got 18th man again?
Yeah. He's not playing for the Bulldogs.
Bro's racking up double-digit 18th mans.
the greatest 18th man of all time. Yeah, it's just... I think Connor can provide so much flexibility across the back line as well. I think there's no need to have both of them there. Would I rather have, I mean, if Connor's there, I think you just don't need him. So I'd rather have another forward.
See, I think he'd go Burton 14 and Connor at 18th. Just because Burton was in the squad.
I think so. I think that's more likely as well. But Connor can play the forwards and Burton can't. So that's why I picked him. Anyway, that's our NRL State of Origin predictions. It was a great segment, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Quite similar opinions. Now, did you want to move on to something else?
Something else, NBA Finals.
Cheeky.
Currently going on. Obviously, we probably thought coming into today's filming that the season would have ended, but it has not. So, currently 3-1 to Boston. Probably the worst final series of all time in terms of entertaining games, but
in terms of superstar level performance, I know this is a trend, this might be a bit like 12-year-old cringe, but aura of players within finals. I mean, Luka does have a bit of aura, but none of the Celtics do really. Jaylen Brown a bit, but I mean, Kyrie stunk it up for most of the finals. Yeah, it's been a pretty disappointing one. What's your overall sort of feeling on how the finals have gone so far? Obviously, you said it's boring, but
it's really weird because Boston had just like quietly had one of the best playoff runs of all time, but nobody cares, and
because no one likes Tatum.
Yeah, and nobody thinks they're an all-time great team.
Have you seen the joke or the meme on TikTok of Jason Tatum doing the, like, everyone's like pleading Jason Tatum not to like do the Kobe, like repeating what Kobe did and just imitating Kobe's like, please,
job not done,
please, and doing like the pick with the finals trophy, and it's like, please,
he's gonna do it
that.
if they win.
Everyone's like, please don't, bro. You scored 15 points a game, and
yeah,
you're shooting 30%, bro. Please.
There's all these memes of like Jason Tatum's the best fifth option in the league.
Oh God. But it's funny. I mean, we were talking prior to the pod about Bill Simmons, who's obviously a great podcaster, probably the number one basketball podcaster around, and he loves Tatum, and he vehemently, defends him as the fifth best player in the NBA.
Fifth?
As a top 5 player in the NBA. I cannot stand that because it's just not true. It's just not. I mean, that's picking him probably over Curry, guys like Curry, Embiid, healthy Kawhi. That's just not.
Giannis, Jokic.
It's just not. Is he top 10? Is he probably 10-9? Yeah, that's definitely a conversation. But his lack of... Now, to be fair to him, he has had a good impact in other areas in the finals. And they were on a 10-game winning streak. So he does have an impact on winning. I'm not going to say that. He is a great player. But... the fact that he is in nowhere near close to finals MVP contention when he is talked about as a top 5 player in the league, that says something. And it says that the Boston Celtics team is unreal. Now, have they had an absolute cakewalk to the finals? Yes. But even if they faced a healthy Sixers team, a healthy Miami team, a healthy Bucks team, even if they faced those top teams in the East healthy, they would still be the favorite in those series. So it's not like...
They would be the favorites, but they've been the favorites before.
Yes. But their team is... they've added Porzingis and Drew Holiday to that team as well. So that's the downside of Tatum's MVP argument. Obviously, I don't think he should win it at all. But say if they wrap it up in Boston and Tatum gets 40, he might win it. And it's just a bit of like...
I think Jaylen Brown will probably win it.
I think Drew Holiday will win it.
You reckon?
What
is he averaging? Like 10 points?
No, he averaged 23 the first 3 games. I don't know. I don't think he was as good last game, obviously, but he was really, really good. I don't know. I've probably mentioned this a lot on this podcast before, but Drew Holiday is my favorite NBA player.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Drew Holiday. It's like my love, to switch over to NRL, my love for Katoa on the Dolphins. I love watching it. He's unreal. I'm so jealous that he doesn't play for the Roosters. It's like watching Drew Holiday. I'm like, why has he never been a Clipper? He is so unreal.
There's no way he's averaging 20 points.
He is. He is.
Well, the last game he scored 10. The one before that he scored 9.
Well, he scored 30. The other, he might be averaging 18, 19. But it'd be like the Iguodala the Iguodala finals MVP. Like, everyone loved him because of how hard he played.
But that was a robbery.
Yeah. But they never award it to the loser. So my thing with Drew is defensively, he's so unreal. Like, watching him play, he's on a different level than anyone else. Like, people say, I don't know,
Jimmy cooked him last year.
Paul George but Jimmy just is unreal. That great offense always beats great defense. But people say, like, certain players are great defenders. like obviously Rudy gets thrown up, but we toss that out. But people say that a lot of players are great defenders, and you watch them one-on-one, and they're like,
PJ Tucker. Great example.
Yeah, it's like, he's gotten beat a lot here. He's gotten blown by quite a bit. Is he really that good?
Everyone's favourite thing was like, PJ Tucker's limited Durant to 45 points today.
Yeah, it's like, but when you watch Drew Holiday defend, it's so amazing. He never lets anyone get past. And his ability to block lanes, to obviously get his hand in there, to get steals, to get blocks. He is the best defender of 2010s and 2020s, in my opinion. He is unreal, so underrated. And what he's added, I can't believe the Bucks traded him, first off. I mean, that's the biggest downgrade trade in history, in my opinion. He's just...
Well, they did lose in the first round last year.
Yeah, but they gave Drew Holiday and picks away. They gave away picks to get worse. So, look, and obviously Dame's a great player, but there's a lot of problems with Milwaukee that we won't get into. But Drew Holiday, what he brings, he's just a winner, and the type of basketball he plays is winning basketball. So I think he's the biggest impact on this series. I think it's clear to see over the first 3 games especially. Derek White has hit some big-time shots, but my end thought is, I don't know what your thought on how the Mavericks role players have played, but it's been shocking.
Yeah, well, that was always the question. Well, we thought the question was we knew what Kyrie and Luke were going to bring. Obviously, Kyrie's been very disappointing. He's been good, better the last 2 games, but the first couple of games he was terrible. He's doing his thing. He's playing through an injury, clearly, but he's still been good. And then it was the question about the role players. Obviously, Gafford and Lively are good, but they're just very one-dimensional. They're just a lob threat and a rim protector. That's literally all they can do. PJ Washington, he got a lot of credits throughout the run. He had been very good for them, but gone missing a bit in the finals.
A bit.
He hit a couple of shots yesterday, so maybe
when
that'll
they were
get him
25.
going.
Good on him.
And then, apart from that, I mean, Derek Jones Jr., the guy was literally out of the league a year ago, and he's got a chance. Played well, to be fair to him, but then you're expecting him to perform in the finals. It's a bit of a big ask. Josh Green, I think, has been decent for them.
Well, he was great. Look, all the Mavericks played great yesterday, so props to them. But the first 3 games, I thought the role players were horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Now, Luka has been a turnstile, but I think that's more injury-related. Now, obviously, what went viral is Windy roasting. Did you see Windy roasting Luka's defense and saying he's out of shape? And everyone like...
Can we just pan the camera down?
Which was funny, but... yeah, I don't think it's him at being out of shape. I think he's actually played pretty good defense throughout the playoffs, and I think it's more the injury that sort of hampered him. And you could see in Game 4 he was unreal defensively. So I think it's more injury than actual fitness levels. But the role players, Kyrie's been bad, but I don't think he's even been the worst. I think PJ Washington's stunk it up. Derek Jones stunk it up. Derek Lively was really poor, I thought, up until last game. And he just looked like he was...
But he is a rookie as well. Like,
yeah, look, I don't blame him, but it just like... It looked like he took a step up and he's like, holy crap, I cannot catch the ball now. So yeah, I think the role players are the main reason. Now, I think in Game 3, they should have won that game. They were up, I think, 10 points or something, 10, 11 points early in that game. But Boston just absolutely blitzed them second, third quarter, which killed them. But then they got back, and they were within 2, and then obviously Luka fouled out, and the whole drama surrounding that happened, and they just couldn't close out that game. But Boston really did look the better team over the first 3 games as a team. Luka looked like the best offensive player, but that's happened throughout his career, really. But the team of the Celtics looks far superior. I think they'll close it out in Boston. I don't know. I think maybe in 2 days it is the game. So I definitely think Boston are going to win this. A lot of people say that they're going to choke, but I highly doubt it. Their team is way too good, especially at home. They got 2 more home games in this series maximum left. So it's like, are they really going to lose 2 home games in Boston with that crowd, with Porzingis back? So
is he back?
He was on the bench for last game, but obviously because they got blown out, they're not going to put him in. I think he'll probably be starting or at least coming up.
Like the injury title is like torn meniscus.
Well, that was the whole thing. It was like
that's like a month
he tore his like whole back or something, and then he's just seen walking around, and it's not like and everyone's saying it's not a major injury, and everyone's like, well, what the fuck is it? I've never heard of this muscle in my life, and it's just he's torn it, but apparently he's okay. I don't know, but yeah, Porzingis, look, he was
on track to be Finals MVP though.
He was unreal in the first 2 games, especially. He was insane, and he probably won like the first game for them. He probably won it for them. Tatum didn't play well, not surprisingly, but their main player didn't play well, and it was going up and down until Porzingis came in, and then he just blitzed them, and then they could just never come back from that. But yeah, for me, the opinion's been that their role players for Dallas haven't stepped up. Celtics, I think in the second game too, they shot 6 for 30 from 3, but Mavs somehow shot worse. So it was one of those games where if this is the game to beat, the Celtics at home, and they just shot worse than them. So good on you, Mavs. So yeah, I don't think it's been a competitive series really overall. It's been a pretty much a stinker. But hopefully, I mean, obviously, I'm hoping the Mavericks win because again, not a fan of the Tatum's, but I think there's zero possibility that happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's never been done before, so the math would back you up there. But look, everyone is hoping for Dallas to win. I haven't heard anyone want Boston to win apart from Boston fans. But
well, they went through a couple of rough years there. They had 2 really bad years in like the 2013-15. They were tough. It was tough times for them. They went like 2 years without competing for a championship. It was really tough.
Yeah, but I mean, there is hope for Dallas in the fact that if there is one team that could fuck this up, it is Boston. When you look back at the past 5 years, the fact that they haven't won a chip already is alarming, to be honest. I think they've lost 3 times to the Heat, in which they would have been massively favoured in all those series. You look back at the Golden State series, in hindsight, they probably should have won that. Golden State were nowhere near the team they were in their peak. So the fact that they haven't got a chip already when they've had...
Well, look, you could argue that they had the better team against LeBron in 2018. You could argue...
Yeah, well, with what all those players went on to become, you could argue that.
Yeah, I mean... You could definitely. I fully believe they took it obviously to 7 games, and they got beat by LeBron. But the rest of LeBron's team was fucking pony. So, it's been a wild ride for Celtics fans over the past 6 years. But I think they probably will get their victory finally, just because they've accrued so much friggin' talent that it's impossible for them to lose, no matter if Tatum wins or loses. And it's going to be a bizarre one. This is kind of the chat that's been thrown around about Tatum, is that in history, right, whoever's won the championship, usually the finals MVP or the person that won it, LeBron, Curry, it's all elevated them. It's all elevated them into you're arguably the best player in the world.
This is almost a KD Warriors level chip.
Yeah. But even when KD won his finals MVP and won it with the Warriors, everyone was talking about, KD's top one. They were
saying he's best player in the world, but legacy-wise, no one's
going to be talking about Tatum like that if he wins this. If Tatum wins this, no one's going to be moving him up in terms of... I think in the playoffs, he hasn't...
He's just over a streaky
50%.
Shooter. I don't get it.
No, but I don't think he's shot well. I don't think he's shot in the playoffs more than 50% in the game. I think he's shot under 50% in every game.
But he just doesn't have like a consistent go-to move. Like if LeBron's struggling, he's just going to steamroll to the basket and score that way. Durant's going to go to his mid-range. Like Curry is going to hit a shot eventually, or can just go to the rack and score layups. But Tatum doesn't look like he's got like a go-to thing when he's struggling. He looks clunky. He dribbles a bit loose sometimes. I don't know. And he misses a lot of gimmies. Well, not gimmies, but shots close to the rim that you'd expect him to make. So when he's on, he's obviously amazing. But when he's off, he just can't find a way to get going.
Yeah, he never gets in the... It's not like you'll see like Curry miss his first 6 shots of the game, but you're like, he'll recover. In the fourth quarter, he'll hit like 3 deep threes and he'll win the game for them. When Tatum's not on, you're like, fuck, he's not going to come back from this. He's not going to start playing well in the second half. So yeah, it's a bit of a blemish on Tatum's record. And if I swear to God, if he does that Finals MVP with Kobe, like he does that picture imitating Kobe, I just gonna. I don't. Could you imagine the comments? Could you imagine?
Did you see them? Because you know how he texted Kobe after his pass saying, "I'm doing this for you" or something.
Yeah.
And then someone just edited a thing of Kobe responding saying, "Stop texting me, bro."
Oh God. Yeah, that's just like, it's a whole level of like, why are you texting someone that's like passed away? Like, why are you doing that, bro? Like, it's not like, if it's your dad, then yeah, but it's like you have no relation to him. Like, he's just like your favorite player. Like, it's just a bit weird. And he played for like the arch rivals of your current team. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I can't imagine Celtics fans are like happy about it. They're like, hang on, we hated Kobe for like his entire career. Why is he like just, oh my God, Kobe?
I don't know. He just looks up to him.
It's just weird. It's really weird. Anyway, moving on. Basketball, obviously, nearly over, but hopefully comes to a good ending.
Yeah. Something that isn't over, or something that's just beginning, rather, is the Euros, the 2024 Euros.
Gets in there.
I think it started a couple days ago. First few games have come and gone. Anything to go off the tournament? I think all the favourites won the games.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special. Germany looked really good against Scotland, though. Did you see the guy that for Scotland? There was a guy that walked from Scotland to Germany to watch the game.
Right.
And
they lost 5-1.
Yeah, you lost. Went to watch them lose 5-1, which was great. So good on him. Anyway, none of the major games happened. Obviously, that the group of death hasn't played yet. I don't think. And then, but obviously England have got to play. I think they're playing tomorrow morning, 5:00. Might get up for it. Will be a long day at work, but it might be worth it. But yeah, England are playing. It's just the time difference for us just sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully they come through, but it's gonna be a tricky one. I think we're scheduled. If everything goes to plan, I think the real test. Well, I think we're playing France in the semis if we get there, and if everything sort of goes how people expect it to go. Which I hate the French, and they've got probably the best team, so it's going to be tough. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, that'll be a good game if you get there. Shout out to Ronaldo as well. Did you see his game
goal
against Ireland?
Yeah.
This dude is 40 years old.
He still has like unreal like he's still a great like shooter. Like he still can finish, but he's not the athlete that he was. Obviously, because he's 40 years old.
It's still crazy impressive to be even like playing on that level.
Yeah, well, Portugal obviously a contender. Germany, I think, a real contender after what they showed. You look at the team that they've got some really good players, especially in attack. So yeah, I think Germany are definitely up there. Italy is also maybe an interesting one. Their manager's a fucking hard-nosed guy, but they've got some good players in there. Not like world beaters, but like a team that could definitely win the Euros. Like
I saw Morata was captain.
Morata.
No, that was Spain. Sorry.
Yeah, that was
Morata for Spain.
Yeah,
Captain.
Morata for Spain.
So I was like, oh, what the hell? I thought this dude was like an average player.
He is average, but he somehow plays in every major team. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. England obviously had a bit of criticism losing a friendly to Iceland in the lead up, so not the best start to the sort of international campaign, but it's massive. I don't know what team he's going to pick. Hopefully I think Foden's got to play for me personally over Saka on the right wing. That's where I'd play.
Really?
But
isn't he a central player?
he plays, but we don't play that system. Like, I don't think Foden can play centre mid in a Euros. I just don't think he's that type. Like, he's just not that player. Like,
So you play like 4-3-3 with a false 9?
Yeah, almost. It's like it is a 4-3-3, but it's more like two CD. It's like a 4-3-3, but you got one holding, two centre mids, and then
right. So Rice holding, then Bellingham and
Bellingham, and probably in the past it's been like
Palmer.
Oh, Palmer's attacking mid as well. It's a tricky one. I don't know what they'll do. Obviously, Kane's starting at 9. I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea what they're going to do. So I think it's going to be interesting. Mainu might be in the mix. Kobbie Mainu. He's picked for the team. So, and I think form-wise, he definitely could be in there.
Madison missed out.
Yeah, he was shocking second half of the year. He had a great start, but he was shocking second half. And there's too many, again, another camp. Like, we've got so many fucking number 10s. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, hopefully England can get through. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I don't think we will, but I think we'll get through the group, but I don't think we'll win at all. But there's too many good teams in the Euros. I had this conversation earlier with a mate from work. people think the Copa America and Messi's sort of winning the Copa America is on the same level as Ronaldo
Hell
winning the
no.
Euros.
Who thinks that?
The Copa America is nowhere near. I just want to put that out. The Copa America
There's
is nowhere
two teams
near
in
the
it.
Euros. Yeah, you can play Chile in the semi-final. What you got? 38-year-old Alexis Sanchez as their best player. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, there's no.
If anything, I think if Portugal win this, the GOAT debate's reunited.
Is it reopened?
Is
I
2
think they're too
Euros
old.
better than a World Cup?
It's on the. I think it's on the same level, but to be fair, they are both like 40 years old. There's no at this point it should be over.
Yeah, but they're both still playing, so
yeah, maybe there's a longevity GOAT conversation there, but I don't know. They both play in farmers leagues anyway, so it's a bit pissy. But yeah, if Ronaldo plays well, maybe it does reopen. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Are you going to be up at 5 a.m. and
not for the group stages? No,
for the final?
maybe for
Are you
for the
are you a France? You're going to go for Francis? Because you are French.
I'd probably go for Portugal.
I'm French, but I don't really like the French.
I'm not
so I'm going to go for
French.
Portugal. He is French.
I'm not French.
He's as French as fish and chips.
Do I sound French?
No, you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you don't sound French, but you are French. You do have a French look to you as well. To
Do
be
I?
fair, yeah, you do look a bit French. But I mean, maybe that's because I say you're French, and maybe that just puts it in my head. Anyway, moving on. UFC news.
UFC news, mostly sad news.
Rip.
In the UFC. In the early, I don't know what hours of the day it was, but one day last week, woke up thinking, oh my God, June is looking incredible. We got Robert Whittaker versus Hamza next week. Week after that, we got Conor versus Chandler. God. This is going to be a great fortnight of fights. And then Dana, he posts his Instagram videos. You know it's never good news when he's posting those videos. Unless it is good news.
But then you thought maybe just it's Hamza that's pulled out. Maybe it's just that fight. But Conor's still going. Conor would never pull out of a fight. And then it's just Conor's out. Just breaks your heart.
No,
it breaks.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I hate he put on Twitter some bullshit PR thing that I've never missed. Like, bro, you didn't write that. Like, there's too many fancy words in there for you to write that. But yeah, I just can't stand it. I just can't stand it. Why can't Conor fight?
Well, he's injured.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like a bit. He fights through anything. I don't think he's actually injured. Surely not. It might be just the fact that he's like, fuck, I am in no way shape. No way, no how shape. I cannot fight right now. I was in a nightclub yesterday on who knows what. There is zero chance I can fight.
Well, I think he is actually injured, but yeah, he has fought through injuries previously, but it's not really smart a thing to do. Maybe when you're young and in your prime, you can be like, fuck it, I'll just fight. But yeah, it's not good. I think it's not a major injury from what I'm hearing, so I think they're looking to reschedule it in 2 months or something like that, which isn't
like
the
2
end of the
months.
world. But yeah, and I wonder if I'm sure they would have offered Chandler some replacements, like, oh, if you stay on the card, we'll give you so-and-so. And obviously Chandler's turned that down. This guy is going to die or fight Conor McGregor.
They're going to be
one of the two is
50
going to
years
happen.
old and they're going to fight. Chandler's definitely committed.
So we'll see how that goes. And then for Rob Whittaker, very, very sad stuff. He has stayed on the card, so fair play to him.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting, his name's Nazardine Imavov.
Great.
He's a Dagestani.
Oh, great.
You know,
some no-name Dagestan is probably going to rock him.
Yeah.
And then just lose to some absolute no-name.
So
great.
It's very risky for Rob now because he is fighting a no-name. He's an unranked fighter. He's fighting an unranked fighter, which, if he loses, pretty much fucks his career. And if he wins, doesn't really do anything for him. So pretty ballsy to take the fight. Apparently it was offered to Usman. Usman said no. But now Usman's saying he did say yes, but they didn't give it to him. So who knows what's going in there.
Yeah, I definitely believe Usman in that.
It was offered to Strickland as well. He turned it down, apparently. So they ended up with this guy. God, Rob better win this fight. But it's also a tricky one because he probably would have got a title shot if he beat Hamza. But I don't know if he gets a title shot now if he beats this guy. So it's just a bad situation. And for Hamza Chimaev, I mean, my God, this guy went from he had 3 fights in 2 weeks or something, 2 fights in 3 weeks at the start of his career, going like, I'll smash everybody. This dude has fought 3 times in 4 years. Like, it is a joke how much he pulls out. Misses weight, pulls out. Pretty much every fight, there's something that goes on with him. So, he's a lost cause. One of the most hyped guys. Everyone was saying he's going to be a 3-division champ before he's even 30. That was like 3 years ago. He's fought twice since then.
How old is he?
I think he's 30 now. So, he's still got time, but like he's achieved nothing at this point.
Yeah. Has he even fought for the title?
No, he beat Usman at middleweight when Usman's a welterweight.
Yeah.
And he beat Gilbert Burns, which is like a decent win, but it's not crazy.
Yeah.
And he looked dodgy in both those fights, like very arguably lost. So it's not looking good for that dude. But apparently it was a life-threatening illness. Like there's a photo of him in the hospital and...
Yeah, look, every time, it's just around fight time, you just get life-threatening illnesses all the time. It just happens.
Yeah, so he might have some like terrible condition that just doesn't...
That no one knows about, but yeah, sure. Look, the main thing, Conor obviously out, but Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira versus Yuri 2 for the title steps in. Alex Pereira is just like the UFC's golden boy right now. Every time they need something.
At least we got Alex Pereira. Do you see the video of him in Australia just pumping out Land Down Under?
No.
He was just like in like speedies, just like in like an open top car, just listening to Land Down Under.
He's such a strange guy, and he doesn't speak any English, but he just does all these things with English speaking
he's
people.
Fucking scary though.
He is scary.
God,
yes.
Imagine having to fight that guy. Imagine I saw like a video on TikTok of him, just how scary he is, like on his walkout as well. Imagine just like he's just walking to the fight, just going like that. And then he just like both. Imagine you're like having to fight that guy. You're like, this guy's an absolute fucking psycho.
Jamal Hill before their fight, he caught the imaginary arrow and snapped it on his leg.
Yeah, and then he's like
proceeded to get knocked out.
Yeah, just imagine getting hit in the balls, and then just imagine kicking him in the balls, and be like, oh shit, I might have been docked a point here. They might have seen this as purposeful, and fucking ref comes over and is trying to check it. And he's like, get away. Just knocks him out with his left hand. 5 seconds. Oh God, he's scary. But props to him. He's keeping the UFC, the lights running.
Imagine if you bought tickets to that event. I would be so filthy.
Well, that's why they're like, well, we've got to get Alex Pereira. Like, we've got to get like a big name.
But even still, I would be filthy.
Yeah, you'd be filthy
because it was the highest gate in UFC history, I think. So you can only imagine that it would have probably been $1,000.
How many refunds?
For a ticket?
Surely there'd be like a million refunds.
I doubt they'd do refunds.
No.
Doesn't seem like something UFC would do. But yeah, I would be so filthy. Because people would have planned, like, imagine all the Irish that are coming over and now they're just...
Oh, yeah. Just imagine, like, all the plane. That'd be mental. Yeah, it's just... Conor McGregor brings it, but had to pull out. So, sad. Hopefully he does fight in a couple of months and we get that fight, but I was definitely looking forward to that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, we can't believe anything until we get to the fight at this point.
Yeah, imagine if he just walks out. He doesn't care. He's not a scheduled fight, but he just comes out anyway. Fights Alex Pereira.
He'll probably be there, to be fair. It's something, but he doesn't actually go to the UFC events. You see him at every other combat event. Like he's at all the boxing. Like bare knuckle, he's there. He's at everything.
He's at like Bellator.
Yeah. He's everywhere except the UFC events.
It's mental. Yeah. Good on him though. Hopefully he gets better and then hopefully we can see him fight. Anything else to chat about or?
Is there any other UFC news? I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind. So
nothing coming to mind. Well, look, thanks for listening. Good episode today. Did a lot of chitter chatter about the NRL and the State of Origin. Hopefully that goes well for us. What is it, next Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday.
Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. So yeah, hopefully New South Wales get up and we get a decider in Game 3. But yeah, thanks for listening and enjoy your day. Like and subscribe. See you later.
Peace out.